Okay, so for this video, we are going to be looking at the differences between food chains and food webs. It should be a pretty short video, it's only a few slides long. So if we scroll down here, food chains are a diagram that shows how energy flows through an ecosystem. It's going to be from one organism to the next. So we have smiley face to like this flat face and then to the frowny face. So the energy is starting here. It's flowing over to this person, and it's flowing over to that person. It shows a single pathway that energy moves through an ecosystem. So if we look at this, we have this grass down here at the bottom. This grass is getting its energy from the sun, so it's using photosynthesis, and the organelle that plant cells use for photosynthesis is a chloroplast. So sunlight comes in, it goes into this grass, it makes a sugar. Grasshoppers will come along, they'll eat that grass. They're not going to get all of the original energy, but they'll get some. Frogs are going to eat some grasshoppers. Again, they're only going to get some of the energy. Snakes will eat the frogs, get some of that energy, and then eagles will eat the snakes and get some of that energy. So there are a ton, so I'm going to write a ton of, there's a ton of grass, there's a lot of grasshoppers, there are many frogs, there are a few snakes, and just a couple eagles. And the reason for that, each eagle has to eat a few snakes to stay alive. Each snake has to eat a few frogs. Each frog has to eat a few grasshoppers, and each grasshopper has to eat some, more than one piece of grass. So we're getting to larger and larger amounts as we go down this food chain. But they're showing us that energy starts here and is working its way up. So why are food chains important? They're important because they tell us, in order to live, what do we have to eat? So for me, it's usually, like a bagel or, a bowl of cereal. But for these eagles and these hawks and these things, their food chain, it's other organisms, other living things. So they're going out, they're hunting every day for food. And the reason they do that is to obtain energy and to obtain nutrients. And that's the same reason we eat. We just don't really have to hunt for it. What do food chains show? Well, they show a feeding relationship. So this is really, really important. The direction of the arrow is the direction of the energy. What that means right here, the arrow is starting at the plant and it's going to the insect. So energy starts, energy goes, G-O-E-S, whoops, and do the same thing. Energy starts here, goes there, starts at the mouse, goes to the owl. I like to think of it like this: food to the eater. Or that arrow, to me, kind of looks like a fork. And I use a fork to put food in my mouth. There's a person eating. They're eating food. That's on the tip of that fork. So the arrow points to whoever's eating it, away from the food to whoever's eating it. That's the direction of energy. Energy is going in the direction of the arrow. So we see here the energy starts with the plant, goes to the insect. The mouse eats the insect, so the energy goes to the mouse. The owl eats the mouse, the energy goes to the owl. Now finally we have food webs. Food webs are really, really cool. So they show multiple pathways that matter and energy flow through an ecosystem. They are a lot more complex. They are a lot more realistic. They show that most organisms eat and are eaten by more than one species. So let's look at this. This tree here, I'm going to draw another little arrow in. This tree is eaten by a mouse, a rabbit, and a goat. That's 3 different organisms that eat that tree. So let's look just at this mouse. Okay, the mouse is eating the tree, and what is eating a mouse? So snakes eat a mouse, and kites eat a mouse. That's one food chain just for this mouse. The mouse is also eaten by an owl, so that's a second food chain. Let's follow this arrow up. We can see the mouse is eaten by a wildcat. which is eaten by a lion. That's our third food chain just for this mouse. The mouse can be eaten by a rabbit, and then a wildcat, and then a lion. Fourth, the mouse can go to the rabbit, and then the jackal, and then the lion. That's 5 food chains just for this mouse. Now let's try the rabbit. Let's see how many food chains we can have in total on this food web. So we have the mouse eats, the rabbit eats the tree, the cat eats the rabbit, and the lion eats the rabbit. The lion eats the cat, so that's 6. Rabbit, eaten by a jackal, eaten by a lion. 7 food chains so far. Let's jump to the goat. The goat can be eaten by the jackal, which is then eaten by the lion. 8. And then the goat is eaten directly by the lion. That's 9. So there's 9 food chains just on here. And you notice, almost all of them are going to this lion at the top. That's going to be our top predator. But let me show you some strategies that I use to identify who is getting their energy from who. So if I want to know every single organism that a lion is eating, all I have to do is I circle the arrowheads that point to my lion, because that's the direction the energy is going, and I trace them back. I trace it back. Okay, so lion's eating a goat, and I trace this back, I trace this back, lion's eating a jackal, trace this back, lion's eating a wildcat. If I want to find out what is eating an organism, all I have to do is trace the arrows away. So let's do my rabbit here. So my rabbit, I have an arrow going away here and an arrow going away there. So my rabbit is being eaten by the wildcat, and it is being eaten by the jackal. So these arrows are really, really important. And you can see sometimes things even skip. So the lion can eat the jackal, or it can just go straight and eat the goat. So I guess as a challenge question, here's what I want you to think about. And I'm not going to tell you the answer to this, but it's interesting to keep your mind occupied with. So imagine that we have less kites. So these eagles, we have less of them. Let's just say that they die out. What's going to happen to the snake population? If there's nothing eating the snake population, will it go up or will it go down? And if the snake population is rising, what is that going to do to the mouse population? Anyway, please feel free to leave any comments. Let me know what was good and what was not good about this video. I want to make these as useful for you as I can. Have a nice day.